it's four of y'all. You got three sisters. At
Yeah.
what point was it like the Ogwumike sisters? It just start like being like that?
I mean, I think like maybe closer to like when I was in high school, because I'm 8 years older than the youngest one.
Okay, right.
So it took a while for them to kind of like make their way through. But I started playing when I was about 10. And at first I was playing at the YMCA league. And this was like, you know, when my mom was like, hey, we need to put you guys in some activities.
Yeah.
So my other three sisters were in soccer. I had to stop playing gymnastics because my instructor said I was getting too tall and it was becoming like a health hazard or safety hazard. So then my mom was like, okay, she would take us to the Y every weekend. And so that's where we learned how to swim and everything. And she saw that you could sign up for basketball classes. So then I was doing that. And I was doing that for like several weeks. I was about like 10 and I was, you know, the tallest, most athletic. I didn't know anything about basketball. But, you know, I was in there. I was walking around like my shit didn't stink.
Big time awards start coming in, like you starting to get rewarded for what you doing, like winning these Player of the Years and all that. How was that for you to receive that?
It was a bit overwhelming. It was a bit overwhelming. I think because, you know, I was receiving all these awards and I didn't really know how it was going to translate. You know, like I knew that college wasn't an option, like that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So then when the letters started coming in, I was like, oh, wait, I can kind of go wherever I want to go. Yeah. And I knew I was going to go to school. I just didn't realize that basketball would open those doors for me to be able to like pick where I want to go.
Yeah.
So then once I started getting letters from Stanford, I was like, that diploma is the one that I want, you know?
Yeah. Now you just took another step up being at Stanford. Like, how was the hoop on the court? Like, I don't think in high school, you went through the same training camp, getting up extra early, like how you do in college. How was the adjustment of the hoop and the training in college?
Man, you know, I've had some really amazing coaches. So I grew up in Texas, and like Texas women's basketball was huge. So people took it very seriously. And if you had a great coaching staff, I had a great AAU coaching staff. I had a great high school coach. So like we knew the wake up at 6 a.m. come in,
you was
do your work.
programmed.
Yeah, I was already kind
Texas
of programmed.
women's
Yeah,
basketball, we wasn't doing that.
nah, for sure. That's how it was for me. So when I got to Stanford, it was just, okay, what is my new schedule?
Freshman year, you make all Pac-10, but y'all lose to UConn.
Yeah.
You lose to UConn in the
Maya
Final
Moore,
Four.
no?
Yeah, we lost
Maya
in the
Moore.
first game.
Then sophomore year, you get back. This year, you Pac-10 Player of the Year, but now y'all get to the chip. UConn and Maya Moore them again.
That one was a hard one. That was the hardest one.
So tell me about that, but I also want to hear about junior year when y'all beat them and knocked them off and broke the 90-game win streak.
Yeah, so I mean, there was so much history in the 4 years that I was there, you know. Obviously, like coming into school, UConn was a top team. Tennessee was a top team. Notre Dame was up and coming. Yeah, I could have. But I went to Stanford. but that first year, you know, a lot of my experience was like, you know, eyes wide open, kind of like doe-eyed. I was very new to all of it. You know, we go to the Final Four. I think it was in St. Louis. And yeah, I think it was in St. Louis. And I was just like, okay, cool, you know. This is really big deal. Like, we got to try and win. And we played well the whole season to get to the Final Four. And I think that first year, I think that we were just playing too nervous. You know, we were playing too nervous. They had a really great team.
Yeah.
They had Tina, they had Maya, they had Tiffany Hayes. Like, they had everybody. And then my sophomore year, it was like, okay, cool. Like, we are vibing. Like, we're really coming out here. We're vibing. We're hooping. And it was tough because I think they said that year that might have been like the lowest scoring halftime of any Final Four. And it was like, I mean, I feel like at halftime we barely had any points. It was like either in the 20s or the 30s or something like that. We were
playing
up.
D out there. That's what it was.
Man, you're right. But it was that one was really heartbreaking because like we were up. It was so close. And Jane was actually playing on a broken foot. And so we ended up losing that one. And then we were just kind of like, man, we can't keep coming here and losing, you know? And I think that after that year, it was kind of like a real culture shift of like, hey, like we've done this 3 years in a row. Like there's a reason why we're in these positions. And so the next year, that junior year was a really big year for me. Yeah. And we have one of the hardest preseasons that I've ever experienced. And, we've had to play Tennessee, UConn. I think at the time we even played Xavier.
That's in the preseason?
Yeah, in the preseason. So we're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And so we get to the UConn game. And at this point, this is my junior year. We haven't lost a game at home. Yeah. And so that's kind of what we're rocking with. Like, we've never lost a game in Maples. And I will never forget how we prepared for that game. Shanae was guarding Maya. And so, like, our practice squad, they did some amazing things. Like, they really personified each player, played like each player. And by the time we got to that game, like Shanae knew when Maya was gonna tie her shoe. Like she looked like a rabid dog out there. And it was just, that was probably one of the games where I was like, wow, like this is basketball. Like this is basketball, and people don't even know the preparation it takes
to get
to that, to execute the game plan, to deal with obstacles in the game. And we were able to maintain like our home game stand.
So now, it's WNBA, it's draft time. Was it a hard choice to think about what you was going to wear to the draft?
No, my mom picked up my outfit. Yeah. Oddly enough, I wasn't even really tripping about what I was going to wear. I think I was just kind of like, I'm like one of those people where I don't really think about things until like it like happens. Like I'm not someone who's like trying to determine their fate. I'm a very disciplined person. So I trust that my destiny is going to happen the way it should if I do the things every day, if I'm like the same every day, if I do my best, try to be my best self every day. And so like by the time the draft came, it was just kind of like, oh, the draft is happening today and you're in it. But like to be drafted to LA, considering that I'd been at Stanford, I'd already had like the Cali connection. I had played in Staples Center, we played the LA schools. And so when the day came, I actually got drafted on my mom's birthday. And so it was just a very special day. Yeah.
Let me ask you about the Minnesota and the Sparks series, the championship when y'all won.
Those 2 years, I would say, I've never experienced any type of energy, environment, like anything like that ever. Yes. I don't think I've ever experienced like that. To me, it was probably like those 2 years was like the height of like my human experience. Because, we're over here building what we can try and build, and we assemble this team, and we have a lot of core foundational pieces. You got the Lynx, who I always tell people this, and I'm not sure if people truly value this. Okay, yeah, they won 4 ships. But to go to the finals that many years in a row, I don't think people understand how difficult that is.
Yeah, crazy.
Like you can shame them for losing whatever. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Going to the finals consecutively that many times.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. So when we got to the point where we were kind of, feeling like, hey, this is starting to feel like something. We got AB and we have KT, me, Candace, like all of these different pieces together now. Jantel, of course. We added Chels, Essence. Like we had all these. Yeah. Now all of a sudden, everyone sees the big dogs, and that's the team to beat. Yeah. That's the team if you can try to dream to beat them. Yeah. But they were the type of team where like they weren't just talented, they were connected. Yeah. They were smart as hell.
It, though. I feel like they had too much firepower. Like how all them on the same team.
Yeah.
Like that.
I mean, they made it. They figured it out.
Then they got Cynthia. It was like, oh, they tripping. They already got the best. One of the best.
Yeah, when they got Syl, I was like, you guys can't be serious. Yeah. But it was fun, man. Like being that competitive every night against a certain team was just fun. And then in 2016, I think that was the year when we both started off undefeated for like several weeks.
I was about to say MVP, MVP and championship. Like, how did that feel to get like this is like You know what, Maya? You got me first year, second year. This is for all the turmoil you put me through early on.
I mean, honestly, like for me, I'm kind of more internally motivated. So like, I don't really like pit myself or like compare myself to other people. But I recognize greatness, and I'm like, okay, if you're gonna be great, I'm gonna bring my greatness. You know, like that's kind of how I am. And I mean, between the two teams, you have MVPs, DPOYs, like
everything,
like future Hall of Famers. It's insane. Rookie of the Year. It's like I don't know how many Rookie of the Years we had on that team, on both teams.
Picks, all that.
Yeah. So then we get to the matchups, and it's like, okay, cool. They got the first one. They stay undefeated. Like, all right, cool. And then it just became like a tit for tat. It was like, okay, we play you guys. All right, we gonna smack that ass.
I ain't gonna come here and
yeah,
win
you know,
one.
like then it just became back and forth. And then when you get to 16 and you get to that was the first year that they changed the playoff format.
Yeah.
And we were so grateful because would you ever want
one hiccup?
We wouldn't have seen a playoffs between the two of us. It was two West teams.
Yeah.
So we get to the playoffs, we have our byes, and we get there, and it's just like every game is just like a fight to the finish.